You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle.
Hey everybody, Jim Chester here, Chiro Hustle Podcast. I have Fred DiDomenico over that way. He's out in Newport Beach, California. I'm in Lakewood, Colorado. And this episode is brought to us by Joe Ferrantelli and the Posture Screen app. If you want more information, go check out their website at postureco.com. But I have Fred on the line today, and just welcome to the show, Fred.
Thank you, brother. It's always great to chat with you, man. We've done a few of these together.
Yeah, it's always fun because I know you're always developing new content, and I know you have a new book that you just published and you're releasing. So Let's tell people what the title is and a few ideas behind it.
It's called "You Are More Powerful Than You Think," and really, what that is in chiropractic, we know chiropractic principle, man. We're innate intelligence. There's universal intelligence. And when you understand that you really are innate intelligence, not as knowledge, but as being, then the universe moves through us. We have power. That's what BJ said about the adjustment with the extra something. Is because we're innate intelligence, we can channel universal intelligence, but yet we get in our mind, right? And our mind is more limited. So you are more powerful than you think is a spiritually based life coaching system that starts with connecting, honor God within yourself. It is a 6-step system called HEALED. So it starts with honor God within yourself. Another way of saying that is understand we're innate and universal intelligence moves through us. And then it moves through learning how to love yourself like God loves you, forgive, releasing your past, finding, discovering, living, and then fulfilling your soul purpose. And that's the acronym HEALED. It's a 6-step system. So really, it's tapping into what our chiropractors already know, man, tapping into the principle and doing it through spiritual knowledge. So your reference point is your divinity rather than being limited by your humanity.
That's pretty powerful. I love the idea of the major premise of chiropractic and how innate intelligence supports our life. The one of the coolest things I ever heard is like when you adjust somebody that is dead, it doesn't matter because their body doesn't have intelligence running through it anymore.
Right.
So when we understand that we're all beings of light and we all have innate intelligence flowing through our bodies, that's important to make sure that that's flowing the right way. One of the things I didn't talk to you about, but is this your first book?
Well, it's my first published book. I've written, lots of chiropractic stuff before, manuals, and actually have another chiropractic book, Back to Health, talks about, spinal correction and stress on the spinal cord. And it's really for the general public that it's in manuscript form. We've given it as an ebook.
Oh, cool. So why was it time for this book? Why did you decide it was ready to put this to print?
Well, like most chiropractors know, when I was practicing years ago, people would come up to me and they'd say, you're always so positive and, you know what your purpose is. And they would say, I don't know what my purpose is. And I always had compassion for that. And then, I was married to a woman that passed away with cancer. And a few weeks before she died, she sat in the bathtub and said, I don't know if I fulfilled my purpose. She didn't know what her purpose was. And I just thought, we're so gifted that we know our purpose. And in that moment, I said, I don't want anybody else to ever say that again. And the majority of people walking around, why are they on antidepressants? And why are they doing that? Because they're looking outside themselves rather than understanding their own power. They are divinity and they are a spirit having a human experience. Like Wayne Dyer says, they're on a human journey and they're here for a reason. So, the problem is we get stuck in our mind, we get stuck in our past. And I know chiropractors know this principle, yet there are spiritual principles in here that will help remind us and remember, because we all have this knowledge, that to be able to tap into that power in every aspect of your life. So it really transforms the whole life coaching system into a spiritually based system.
And that wraps us right into you being the coach and having seminars that you put on with elite coaching and becoming unstoppable.
Right.
How do you marry these concepts all together and help people get to the next level?
Well, again, chiropractors have a sole purpose, man. And we understand the principle. So if when you have a spiritually based foundation, an inside out foundation, everybody knows when fulfilling your sole purpose is not easy. Happiness and fulfilling your sole purpose are not the same. They're not parallel. Fulfillment and fulfilling your sole purpose, so we know we go through tough times. And if you don't have a spiritually based reference point, then you start reacting to everything outside of you. And that takes you off your purpose, as opposed to having an inside out reference point and knowing that, quote, he that is in me is greater than he is in the world. No matter what I face in the world, my faith, my belief, the principle, the fact that I'm divine first, that whatever's in front of me, I can overcome, not because of the power in me, but the power that moves through me. See, that's the difference. It's not, I don't have to conquer every mountain, right? I don't have to conquer it, but I can use universal intelligence. I can use God through me to know that the universe and God is guiding me through every step. And no matter what I have to face, we will get through it. And that level of confidence, and we teach these things. I incorporate these spiritual principles as a foundation in the coaching group, along with using NLP and life coaching and all the things that Tony Robbins does to get 8,000 people across 2,000-degree colds. So once we learn how to master the mind and we learn how to master our spirit, our impact on people's lives and our ability to fulfill that purpose in chiropractic and get that message out globally is going to have a far bigger impact, because you're more powerful than you think.
Yeah, and it's kind of taking people through a elemental basis of understanding who they are, why they do what they do, and where they want to go. And, I like the ideas of always reverse engineering what you want, and then building like daily momentum to get to where that achievement point is. What do we have to do on an each day basis to keep our head right? One of the things that I'll share with you guys that might not know this, but my best friend growing up, this is kind of a touching story, Fred. He's been dealing with addiction, and his sorry, I have some Facebook notifications, but when he recently his wife left him and he doesn't see his kids anymore and he's become depressed. He's been struggling with drugs and addiction. I went ahead and said, you know what, if I can be this guy's advocate and help him out, I'm going to step forward and help him level himself into a better state of consciousness. So I contacted a chiropractor in his town, and I actually got him under care and took care of his initial fees and taken care of a year of care for him. And that's just it, is when you understand that we all have this innate running through us. Most people, like you said, get on these antidepressants. They don't know who they are, and they're looking for this outside image to take care of them. They lose so much of themselves and don't know what real achievement is at that point. Achievement to them is getting out of bed in the day.
Right. Well, and we talk about this in the book that a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, they're focused on their pain and using alcohol or drugs as a vehicle. Everybody knows that. However, somebody who real life with addiction is actually a very powerful spirit. But what are they focused on? So a powerful force, a powerful personality, when they're focused on pain, is going to create devastating results, man. They're going to go down in flames big time, and everybody's going to watch them burn. But when they focus on who they are, their reference point moves from their humanity and their pain into their divinity and into purpose and love. Then those people are world changers. The worst addicts are actually the biggest world changers. I
agree, because they've been damaged the most, and they have the most to make up for and to show out for.
Well, energy, which is why they wreck their whole life. You know what I mean? If they're going to do something, they do it big, right? They either screw up really big or they improve the world really big. Powerful energies do things big. It's what are you focused on? And so that's really it, is understanding that your pain is part of your humanity. But how can we frame that in a way where we understand our greatest pain leads to our greatest purpose? This book would not be in existence if I didn't watch my wife take her last breath. And I've been through tons of pain, Yet my greatest gift from that was learning unconditional love. The next great purpose of my Love Past Chiropractic is bringing this healed system out to the world to help them. If you do know your soul purpose, this will help empower you. And if you don't know, it will help you empower, discover, live, and fulfill. So that's the thing. If I didn't go through that greatest pain, there wouldn't be this next purpose. And all my relationships since then have been different.
Yeah, I think that there's so much to be said about life experience and what we've gone through and how we get to become who we are today. Before we go on with the interview, I have some other things I want to ask you, but let's pattern interrupt for a moment. If people are on and they want to find your book, where do they go?
Well, you go to Amazon, look up You Are More Powerful Than You Think, and plug in my name, Dr. Fred DiDomenico. There actually is another guy with the same title, but so just plug in You're More Powerful Than You Think, Dr. Fred. And actually, I just finished taping the audiobook, so that'll be coming out soon too.
That's cool. I like those like midway like closes on people too, because not all people watch all the way to the end. So now people are going to know where to go to get the goods. In today's chiropractic's birthday, September 18th, 1895, the first chiropractic adjustment was given to a guy named Harvey Lillard in Davenport, Iowa. And today we celebrate the 123rd year of the beautiful profession of chiropractic. So high five to chiropractic. Happy birthday.
Love that. One adjustment gave us our life purpose.
Yeah, and before that, people were living in the dark ages, man. They didn't know what it was like to really have a free soul and a free body and be able to maximize their abilities to, I guess we're on this huge human performance world right now with chiropractic. And it does. It gives people a better ability to have a higher level of human performance. Whatever we want to achieve is better under chiropractic care.
Yep, that's for sure. And that's, when we become chiropractors, everybody knows this, man, it's a calling, right? This isn't something you chose. This is something you chose in the spirit world. So, when you come into this life, every step is leading, how did I find chiropractic? I was going to San Diego State and LACC sent me a pamphlet, and at the time I was praying, God, what am I supposed to do? Show me my path. I get a pamphlet. Chiropractors don't know what the hell they're talking about. Blah, blah, blah. Never been to chiropractic. They sent me a second one, throw it out. They sent me a third one. But I knew that if I'm praying for something and I get something comes to me 3 times, that's my answer. So, I said, that's it. Off 3 pamphlets, I'm going to be a chiropractor and never look back. I went to LACC. I had no idea what chiropractic was, but I got 3 pamphlets. So, when you look at that, man, that's intention. When you pay attention to the universe, it's guiding every step. The audio, by the way, to answer that, I should be getting the audio this week, Kelly, and it should be loaded up on Audible. And if you go to the Dr. Fred DiDomenico Facebook page, we should have that up there. So thanks for asking.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about these lives is people can do like real-time Q&A with us. And is it okay if I recognize a couple of people that have been on with us?
Yeah, sure.
Alex Duff, yes, sir. Happy birthday, chiropractic. Kelly Schmidt, we just answered your question, so thank you for giving us something to talk to you about. Deanna, it's terrible when people get on antidepressants. It's one of those things that people are always looking for answers of an outside-in perspective, and it doesn't really work. And I'm sure it makes you crazy. It makes me crazy when people take unnecessary meds for conditions that they can correct through proper eating, proper thoughts, and proper exercise, and getting adjusted and living the chiropractic lifestyle. And then Sean Rundle, we love you too, brother. Love that you're on with us today. And yes, thank you, Kelly, for commenting to us. So let's turn the gears a little bit more towards you being an influencer. Let's talk about some success principles. Let's talk about a couple of tips that you give to a new grad that, they're out there. They just got their diploma. Seems like they get their diploma and they're like up here. And then like the day they walk the stage, their self-esteem goes down there.
Yeah. Shoot, man. That's like 8 million things running through my mind. I think the most important thing is you got to learn how to communicate. That's it. Your communication skills, your ability to relate to people, understand your audience. Rule number 1 in any communication or influence is know your audience. Sean's got a great program. They teach boot camps, Close for Chiro. We teach communication boot camps, all NLP life coaching based. And that's really it, because that's going to teach you how to market. Your feet the bottom line is, when I help people open their clinic, new students, new docs coming out, they don't get it. Like you say, look, your feet have to hit the pavement. And they say, oh, I know, but they don't really get it. Your feet have to hit the pavement every day for a year, wherever you go. And that was the thing. I used to build practices. Obviously, I had 4 clinics. They're all 500, 700 a week, which, that's a good morning for, that's like Joe Borio, Chris Zano. But the thing is, man, it's like you got to be so full and love chiropractic so much that it can't stay inside you.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This week's episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, MoveWell University, the Black Diamond Club, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Dr. Alok Trivedi, Universal Traction Systems, Vantage Point Marketing, Element Mattresses, Imaging Services, Zingit Solutions, Chiro Thin, Dr. Peter Goldman's Zone School of Healing, and Everest Chiropractic Bootcamp. Let's hustle.
So, whenever you go into a town, everywhere you go, they got to know who you are, what you do, where you're located, because it has to come out of you. And so when you have that principle that everybody I interact with, if they're subluxated, that breaks my core value. So if I'm going to hand my debit card to the dry cleaner and they touch my debit and I'm in conversation, they're subluxated. I have a problem with that. That means you got to be my patient. If I'm going to stand in the line with a cashier at a grocery store and I'm going to actually interact with you, even if it's have a nice day, you're subluxated. I have a problem with that. If you're going to serve me at lunch and you're a waitress, you're subluxated and we're interacting, I have a problem with that. And so when you look at it like that, that you're surrounded by people that focus on marketing, do you need to market? Yeah, that's no question. There's no question. However, the premise of the principle is your PVA. What's the average retention? That's the principle. Do you know human behavior enough? Because retention is the key. And retention isn't pain-based, it's pleasure-based. When you look at how does Tony get him across the fire? He doesn't say, by the way, your life sucks. Let's look at all your problems. Okay, run across 2,000-degree holes. No, he knows how to put you into peak state. He knows how to help you release your limiting beliefs, get into this totally empowered state, and that's how they go across fire. So when you look at retention, the profession really has been doing the wrong thing. Because what do they say? Well, if you're going to quit, you're going to lose your results. That's consequence-based. How many times, and you guys know, you say, well, if you quit, you're going to lose your result. And the patient said, oh, hey, why didn't you tell me? I think I'll come for the rest of my life and bring my family. Or do they walk out, right? Because what we've done, and that's where I became frustrated with coaching groups. Everybody, I learned great things from coaching groups. However, I wanted 100 PVA, not a 40 PVA. You know what I mean? So the thing is, if a person committed, so after I spent all these years in studying human behavior, it was like, you're either out in 2 days or you're in for 100 visits. And that was it. Either you weren't ready to change your life, and you could do that on an 80+% basis, where imagine 80% or more staying for 100 visits. You can do that. Now that's chiropractic lifestyle. And the challenge that I think that we've run into is we've had basic sales techniques that have created transactional relationships.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? Hey, we can get a patient started. So, one of the things we teach in Elite is I don't want to create a chiropractic patient. Chiropractic patients quit. I want to create a chiropractic leader, because if you can lead and you can teach, then you can live it. So we teach and inspire people to teach chiropractic. If you can teach it, you can live it. And if you can teach it, you build a strong culture. That culture will grow on its own, because you create leaders, not just patients. Patients quit, leaders live.
And what you say there, it if anybody out there and they think that there's value in this and there's a chiropractic student out there that you're attached to, please share this to them. Tag their name in the comments, because there's things that Fred said there that are going to help people get from where they are to the next level, just through merely paying attention to somebody that gives advice to people and coaches them and gets results based, practices going. Something that I wanted to talk to you about is people stay with businesses and they spend their money at businesses that they trust. And if we're talking about repeat customers, that is a leader practice member. So you have to create that culture. There's a reason that you take your credit card out and you go give money to that dry cleaner, or you go to that grocery store, because they do enough good branding. They niche themselves into the community so well that that's just where you go, because that's where everybody goes.
Yeah, it's relationship based, and everybody knows that. However, there's things that I've learned in NLP and Tony Robbins, 6 human needs. There's 6 human needs. And if you don't meet those needs, people quit. But they're not going to say, excuse me, Dr. Fred, you didn't meet my 4th human need. So when you find out what those are, and we teach those in our boot camps, and your systems meet all of those needs, then people don't need to go anywhere. They actually want to be there. You build a relationship. You build an empowered person. You build a leader, because you're meeting all their emotional needs. So the thing is, if you're not even aware of those, that's why people quit. If you are aware of them and your systems match, you're going to create more lifetime patients than ever.
And that builds stronger relationships, stronger bonds, and better practice for you.
It's part of creating a leader. It's certainty, uncertainty, significance, love and connection, growth, and contribution. So when you meet all 5 needs, then you take a person to the level of contribution. And that's what our goal is. When we meet those 5 needs, we get them to the level of contribution. You've created a leader that contributes to the growth of your culture.
And that's when people become ultra successful.
Well, yeah, because now we don't have to work. And one of our premises, and the premise of this book, is being before doing. So when you create a being, a chiropractic patient, where chiropractic becomes a subconscious habit. And so now what businesses are doing today, they know this. It's research out of Stanford. 4 qualities your product or service should have that create your customers to use your product or service as an unconscious habit. Well, they're using that in gaming industries. They're using it on Facebook. They're using it on Instagram. But to me, that sounds like chiropractic. So I went through and I looked at those, and we plugged these into the system so that your patients don't have to think about Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They don't have to think about once a week. They don't have to think about how they bring their family, because wired into them through these needs and their emotions that they live this way subconsciously, and they contribute automatically. Mm-hmm. Now that's an empowered person.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to step up and play bigger. That most people just don't have the tools for it.
Exactly. Well, you summarized it in 10 words or less. The bottom line is, all right, as chiropractors, we haven't been given the tools, because they don't teach this in chiropractic.
Mm-hmm. And let's talk about your seminar. If people wanted to come to that, where do they go for that?
October 19th, 20th in Chicago. It's the theme is Becoming Unstoppable. So one thing we always say, if you want to take your practice and your life to the next level, step 1 is mindset. Step 2 is system. It's always mindset first. And so this is a total mindset leadership seminar. I mean, God, we have great leaders: Chris Zano, Neil Cohen, Dan Pompa, Joe Borio. Who else? I totally forgot. Well, I have 4 people that aren't even chiropractors that are great leaders. Rick Sapio. Actually, I'm going to interview my sister. She's an executive for Adobe. Her sales team goes around the world and sells $1 billion a year.
Bam.
So she's the dude that has the little ring and the scrotum of all she's around. So yours every year. It's one. We have another. There's a whole list of people. There's 12 speakers. All are going to share the mindset of purpose, conviction, and being unstoppable. So
that's amazing.
It's a one-time event.
The A team.
The A team. Yes, we go to elite coachingllc.com, or just call us and we'll register. It's, I don't know what the price is, like $4.95 or something. Includes your whole team. Bring your team because you will be different on Monday.
That's awesome. The first time I met you, I was at something in Vegas where you had an elite coaching going on. And like you taught me some things I never forgot. So anybody that goes to the elite coaching seminar, you're going to pick up on things and nuances of how to just manage yourself better, and you'll never forget the stuff. So I do give anybody the opportunity that has the want to learn more, to make more of an impact, to go see Dr. Fred and his group out there in Chicago on October 18th, 19th. It's really what Fred has to offer is something that so many people need, that toolkit, and most people just don't know where to go or how to implement it. So I do like what you say. You got to work with the mind first, and you got to get people's state of mind to the point where they can actually feel comfortable implementing a system. And then when they have themselves prepared, then the system is easy. But if you try to teach somebody a system that isn't prepared, then they're wanting. And when you have people that want, then they don't achieve because they don't know what to do for themselves.
Exactly. And I think the biggest thing, in coaching hundreds of docs, the biggest, you can do the systems, but when you do it with conviction and purpose, and it doesn't mean you don't love the purpose or you don't love chiropractic, but telling people what they don't want to hear, that's conviction. So it's not about being liked. I always say, when you give up the need to be liked and accepted, you gain the gift of being loved and respected.
That's
You know what I mean? You'll be far more powerful being loved and respected than you are being liked and accepted.
Hey, those are life principles for anybody. That was one of my questions for you, is what are some tips that you can give that will work for just anybody, not just chiropractors? So there you guys go.
Yeah. I think the thing is being before doing. We can get so caught up in a task list, but if you look at your emotion and your state is the fuel that you're doing things with. So if you're in a state of anxiety doing tasks, you're probably not going to be that successful. If you're in a state of love and empowerment and joy and fun, what you create is going to magnify exponentially. So it's, being before doing, man. Check your state before you do stuff.
Amen. And that's how people, get to the next level, is they check in with themselves every day. They tell themselves that they're handsome or beautiful. They tell themselves the good things that they need to hear, because chances are no one else is going to tell you that. So you have to get yourself some love too.
Oh yeah, no question. And then the thing is, when your purpose is big enough, then you move beyond that, because you don't care. Hey, I may or may not be handsome, but I got a freaking purpose. I may or may not be, this person may or may not love me, but my purpose is bigger than my fear. So, then purpose moves beyond all that stuff, because that stuff becomes smaller, and your purpose and contribution to other people is far more important.
I think one of the most important words you said all day is contribution, because I think that the more people contribute, the more they get self-esteem.
Yeah, that's right. Giving and receiving are actually simultaneous, and that's the thing. We think, well, we give, and if you feel energy leaving you, then when you give like that, you actually deplete yourself. But what happens is your limbic brain doesn't know the difference between you and another person. It knows what you feel. So it's kind of like when you're really excited to give someone a gift and you give it to them, you're like, hurry up, open it. You're actually experiencing the joy. So if you become conscious of what you're experiencing as you contribute, then contribution becomes self-replenishing. So if you're giving and feeling depleted, then you don't understand that giving and receiving are simultaneous. It's not I give, then I receive. No, I experience as I'm giving it and I'm receiving. That's why also, like in the Bible, it says, judge and you will be judged, right? Paraphrasing. Because when you're judging, you experience criticism. So it's not that if I judge, I'll be judged by someone else. When I'm judging, I'm experiencing the judgment, which actually becomes self-depleting. Where loving becomes self-replenishing. So I can actually give compliments, and at the same time, I'm replenishing love within myself. The more love you have, the more love you have to give. The more you give, the more you have to give. And then you become ultimately a loving being, which we are divinely anyway.
And then you're in the flow state and life comes to you. You don't have to go searching for it anymore.
Then you don't have to work because it's being before doing.
It's just the law of reciprocation is in full effect at that point. And, reciprocity is the other adjunct to contribution. And when you give, you can't outgive the giver. That's one of those principles too. But I know we're coming up on the edge of our time together. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to share today?
Oh man, I'm not sure who our audience is. I know there's a bunch of chiropractors. God, we had so many powerful principles.
Heck yeah,
I just think if you're struggling at all, just get this book. Not because it's my book, but because honestly, I didn't write this book. I would pray and things. There were times where I would pray and then I'd start writing and then 45 minutes would go by and I'd look back at what I wrote and I'd say, I didn't write that. And that was really through understanding the principle that we all know, universal intelligence through innate intelligence. I mean, there's things it's easy to read, but the principles have depth. And, if you would like to go to the next level, the people who read this have had massive breakthroughs in their life. And, I would encourage you to get it. If you have another source, all the power to you. But what it is connect with your divinity. That's where your power is. Get that. Become conscious of that. Develop habits around that. And then your whole life will change.
And that's right on the shoulders of giants with get the big idea, all else follows. And exactly. Now being today's Founders Day, 123 years ago, chiropractic's birthday, that's very fitting for the year of 2018 to have some reference points to be able to get the big idea in a different NLP style.
Yeah. And, also if you want help in chiropractic, obviously, hey, anybody can call me anytime. I mean, go to Elite Coaching, look at our number. I like building relationships. Like you said, if we can help you with a seminar, great. We'd love to have you. If you just have a question, I welcome conversations and relationships. So,
and the book title again for everybody out there?
You are more powerful than you think.
You guys go on over to Amazon, check it out. The audio book will be available here shortly. Is that on Audible?
It will be. We'll be coming up in about a week.
Awesome. So there you guys have it. You guys have the goods. You guys know where to go for the seminar. You guys know where to go for the book. And if you guys just have a question, you know that he's available to reach out to. I want to say thank you, Dr. Fred, for being such an ambassador to the profession of chiropractic and always leading from the front. And want to say thank you to Joe Ferrancelli with the Posture Screen app for being such a generous contributor to the Chiro Hustle podcast so we can carry on and keep free speech alive and well in this beautiful profession of chiropractic.
Hey, and thank you, man, because you're doing tremendous things. You're bringing out a lot of great leaders and you're a phenomenal interviewer. And you know what, man, your purpose, like many chiropractors should have your conviction and purpose, can have it. But a way to exemplify it, not even being a chiropractor, man, that what you believe is true power.
Well, 8 years in the profession, I don't stop. Just keep on going harder, keep on submersing myself into more content, meeting more people. I like to call the process palm to palm, heart to heart, knee to knee. And when you follow that strategy with people, you become endeared to them and the world opens up for you.
Nice. Perfect. That's awesome.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you. I just wanted to say have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next interview.
Thank you, brother. My pleasure.
All right. See you later.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.